Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Tonight we delve into the darkness, into those places where fear lingers like the smell of stale cigarettes. We're talking about abandoned subways, those veins beneath the city, forgotten and left to rot. But something still moves within them, something dark, something hungry. So gather close, turn down the lights and prepare yourselves. Tonight we descend into the abyss. Our first story takes us to the heart of Chicago, to an abandoned line that once pulsed with the lifeblood of the city, bustling with commuters and the hum of daily life. They say, late at night after the last train has run its course and the city has gone to sleep, a spectral train emerges from the darkness as if summoned by the silence. A train driven by the ghost of a man they called Old Ed, a name whispered with both fear and reverence. Ed was a conductor on this line, a dedicated man who took pride in his work, a man who knew the tunnels like the back of his hand, every twist and turn, every signal and switch. One night a storm raged above, flooding the tracks with relentless rain. Ed, ever the dutiful conductor, was determined to get his passengers home safely, no matter the cost. But the storm had other plans that would change everything. The tracks gave way, sending the train plummeting into the darkness, a descent into the unknown. They say Ed's screams echoed through the tunnels long after the floodwaters receded, a haunting reminder of that fateful night. Now, those who dare to venture into the abandoned station late at night claim to hear the screech of metal on metal, the hiss of air brakes like a ghostly whisper in the dark, and a mournful horn echoing in the distance, a sound that chills the soul. Some have even reported seeing the train itself, a ghostly apparition that defies explanation, a spectral silhouette illuminated by an eerie internal glow, as if lit by the souls within. They say the windows are filled with the ghostly faces of passengers, their eyes wide with fear, their expressions frozen in eternal terror, a snapshot of their final moments. And at the helm, a shadowy figure in a conductor's cap, a spectral guardian of the doomed train, his hand forever reaching for the brake that failed him in life, a futile gesture of desperation. One night, a group of teenagers, emboldened by youthful bravado and cheap beer, decided to explore the abandoned station, seeking thrills and chills. They'd heard the stories but dismissed them as urban legends. They were wrong, so very wrong. As they descended into the darkness, the air grew heavy, charged with an unseen energy, a palpable sense of dread. The silence was broken only by the sound of their own nervous laughter and the distant drip of water, a haunting symphony. And then they heard it, a sound that would haunt them forever, a low rumble that seemed to vibrate in their chests, a foreboding presence. The rumble grew louder, resolving itself into the unmistakable sound of a train approaching. Panic seized the teenagers, their bravado shattered. They stumbled back, their eyes wide with terror as a pair of headlights pierced the darkness, an omen of doom. The train screeched to a halt in front of them, a ghostly apparition come to life, the air brakes hissing like a venomous serpent, a final chilling sound. Our next tale takes us to the echoing tunnels beneath the bustling streets of Tokyo, a city known for its vibrant life and ceaseless energy. Here in the bowels of the city lies an abandoned subway line, sealed off from the public for decades. The reason? The whispers. They say the walls of these tunnels whisper, not with the wind, mind you, but with voices. Voices of the past, trapped within the very brick and mortar, as if the walls themselves have memories. Some say they are the souls of those who died in the tunnels, their final breaths forever etched into the darkness. Others claim the whispers are echoes of conversations long past, snippets of laughter and sorrow, arguments and confessions, all swirling together in a cacophony of disembodied voices. Whatever their source, the whispers have earned the abandoned subway a chilling reputation, one that keeps most people far away. One urban explorer, a young woman named Hannah, became obsessed with the legend of the whispering walls. She spent months researching the history of the abandoned line, poring over old blueprints and interviewing former subway workers. She was determined to be the one to unlock the secrets of the whispers. Armed with a flashlight, a voice recorder, and a healthy dose of trepidation, Hannah descended into the darkness. The air was thick with the smell of mildew and decay, and a deathly silence hung over the tunnel, broken only by the occasional drip of water. Hannah took a deep breath and started walking, her flashlight beam cutting through the gloom. At first there was nothing but the sound of her own footsteps echoing off the walls. But as she ventured deeper into the tunnel, she began to hear something else. A faint murmuring, like the rustle of leaves in a gentle breeze, but more eerie and unsettling. She stopped, holding her breath, and listened intently. The murmuring grew louder, resolving itself into distinct whispers. They seemed to be coming from everywhere and nowhere at once, swirling around her like a ghostly chorus. Hannah raised her voice recorder, her hand trembling slightly. "Hello?" she called out, her voice echoing strangely in the confined space. The whispers seemed to intensify, pressing in on her from all sides. She could make out words and phrases now, snippets of conversation, fragments of sentences, a child's laughter, a woman's sob, a man's angry shout. It was overwhelming, a chaotic symphony of voices from beyond the grave, each one vying for her attention. Hannah felt a cold dread creep up her spine, a fear unlike anything she had ever experienced before. Our final descent into the darkness takes us to the sprawling subway system of New York City, a labyrinth of tunnels that has swallowed more than its fair share of souls over the years. But there's one line, a forgotten spur that branches off into the unknown that holds a particularly sinister reputation, shrouded in mystery and fear. This, my friends, is the line of the vanishing passengers, a line that has become the stuff of urban legend. It began subtly. A missing persons report here, an unsolved case there, each one adding to the growing sense of unease. People boarding the train at one station, never to disembark at their destination, vanishing without a trace. At first, it was easy to dismiss these incidents as mere coincidences. In a city this size, people disappear all the time, lost in the crowd, swallowed by the urban jungle, their stories forgotten. But the disappearances continued, always on this one line, always without a trace, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions. The stories began to circulate, whispers of a phantom train, a gateway to another dimension, a hungry darkness that consumed those unlucky enough to be caught in its grasp, never to return. One evening, a young musician named Ben found himself on the wrong train, a mistake that would change his life forever. He'd been lost in his music, oblivious to his surroundings, and had wandered onto the platform just as a train pulled in, its doors sliding open invitingly. He boarded without thinking, his mind still filled with the melody he was composing, unaware of the danger that lay ahead. As the train rattled through the tunnels, Ben noticed something was off, a sense of unease creeping over him. The car was nearly empty, save for a handful of passengers, each lost in their own world, disconnected from reality. No one spoke, no one made eye contact. The silence was almost deafening. A heavy silence hung in the air, broken only by the rhythmic screech of the wheels echoing through the empty car. He looked out the window, but the darkness outside offered no clues, only an impenetrable void. The train seemed to be traveling deeper and deeper underground, away from the heart of the city, into the unknown. Ben felt a knot of unease tighten in his stomach, a sense of dread washing over him. He tried to shake off the feeling, telling himself it was just his imagination, a trick of the mind. But the further the train traveled, the more oppressive the atmosphere became, the air thick with tension. The air grew cold and stale, as if it hadn't been circulated in decades, a chill that seeped into his bones. Ben decided to get off at the next station, but as he looked for the stop button, he realized there wasn't one, a detail that filled him with panic. In fact, there were no markings of any kind on the train, no route maps, no advertisements, nothing to indicate where he was or where he was going. It was as if the train itself had been erased from existence, a ghostly vessel traveling through the void. Panic welled up inside him, his heart racing as he tried to make sense of his surroundings. He turned to the other passengers, hoping for some kind of explanation, but they seemed not to notice him, their eyes vacant and hollow. Their faces were pale and drawn, their eyes vacant and hollow, as if they were not entirely there. They looked like ghosts, specters from another world. The train screeched to a halt, plunging the car into darkness, a darkness that seemed to swallow everything. Ben stumbled to his feet, his heart pounding in his chest, fear gripping him. The doors slid open with a groan, revealing a dimly lit platform, a sight that did little to calm his nerves. But this was no ordinary station. It was a place that seemed forgotten by time. The platform was deserted, the air thick with dust and the smell of decay, a place where no one had set foot in years. The city sleeps, but beneath its skin, in the forgotten arteries of steel and shadow, something stirs. We've only scratched the surface tonight, my friends. The darkness holds countless stories, each one a chilling reminder of the mysteries that surround us. If you enjoyed tonight's journey into the unknown, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more explorations into the dark heart of our world. And if you're feeling brave, share your own encounters with the unexplained in the comments below. Let's keep the conversation going. But for now, my friends, I bid you good night. Sleep tight and mind the gap. You never know what might be waiting for you in the shadows.